And Somani sir, yeah, just a quick announcement that we are proud to announce that we are coming up with the next conference. This is our first conference as a cold chain community. So next conference in Mumbai with the help of DY Patil University, and it is going to be in the DY Patil University. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and we are looking for all the participants over there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that, ladies and gentlemen, our second panelists are already up on the stage, and without wasting further ado, I request our moderator to commence our session. Thank you very much.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I know it's 40 break time will commence. The topic for the second panel is about the future business. How do we integrate warehousing and the logistics, focusing around the cold chain part. With me today, I have an rich to friends, all within the drug development cycle, helping the products coming into the market. I have on my right, on my left, Mr. Sanjay Dixit, who is the VP for Distribution Logistics with Intas. He comes with 35 years of experience in domestic and EXIM distribution, as well as he is quite well versed in the quality aspects of drafting and finalizing the SOPs, which is very critical in this domain when we talk about the compliance and the follow-up in terms of implementation. Next to him is Mr. Vikas Shah. Again, he needs no introduction. He is a GM and site head for the clinical trial management arm of the Thermo Fisher Scientific based out of Ahmedabad. He also comes with close to 35 years or more of overall experience. He has worked with companies like Site Care Hospital, Site Research, Site Space Research, Quintiles, and now I think more than 10 years, 12 years with Fisher, sir. Yeah. And last one on the list, but we have Sunil Pandya representing Hellman. He is a regional director with the company and been with Hellman since 2007. And again, coming with close to 3 decades of overall experience. So thank you all for joining the panel today. I'm quite excited to hear your thoughts on the future of the cold chain in India and global. Now, to start with the session and the topic we have, there's a very, subsequent keyword, future, right? A future itself comes with a different perspective. Okay? Somebody may look at it as a eye of hope, optimism, sometimes fear. We all have, probably I would say, majority of the public or the audience I can see who are not the Gen Z, or the before ones, might have known about the Y2K problem, right? Those were in the late 90s, and especially to the millennials who have just got hold of their first experience on personal computer, and the fear of losing that experience because of the Y2K was something very different, and specifically around when we talk about the internet bubble at that point of time. We have other experiences. We cannot forget about the COVID, which has happened more than 5 years back now. And when the first lockdown happened in India, I'm quite confident that majority of us sitting here would have never heard of the term lockdown or predicted that it would last for weeks and multiple sessions, right? And similarly, when we talk about future, I'm not sure how much of you may have followed, but there is a very interesting topic going around, which is about the 3I Atlas. This is an interstellar object which has just been identified, and 19 December is what is estimated to be the closest to Earth, sorry. And so why I'm mentioning these 3 different incidents spanning across the last 25, 30 years. The reason being, when we talk about future, we talk it from the perspective of how we look at it, right? If we are optimistic, we'll look at it with positivity. If we are fearful, we'll have a different take on how the future would look like. Somebody may say it's the end of the world and so on and so forth. Now, the perspective is very different. Now, to put this thing in terms of a better understanding, the panelists here, all the 3 members combined, bring in a collective experience of a century, right? So let that sink in, because we talk about the pharma manufacturers, we talk about the stakeholders, the facilitators, and we also talk about the LSPs. It's a different perspective when you look at from the angle that the panel here is going to squeeze down their experience of a collective 100 years. Okay? With that, I'll maybe kick off the session with the first question to Mr. Sanjay in terms of what keeps you awake at night when we talk about the distribution, and of course, it includes the element of the entire manufacturing at your plant, the warehousing, whether this is controlled by your organization or outsourced, and the most importantly, the distribution, typically the last mile.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the organization. Thank you very much to all you people to for here to attend this session. Vishal, very interesting question you have asked. When we are working in a logistics and we are working in a distribution, then we have two core parameters in our mind. First of all is that availability is the major function, because it is we are dealing with the distribution. And secondly, we are dealing with a product which is mainly related to the human healthcare, animal healthcare also nowadays. Right, and it is going to be consumed by live person, animals, or it is human beings. So the quality and that should be maintained properly till it is reaching up to the end user. So while specifically we are handling the cold chain products, super specialty products, our core focus is mainly remaining with the maintaining of the cold chain. Because if the cold chain is not maintained properly, the product will lost its efficacy, and once the product has lost its efficacy, it will create lot of. And there is a series of issues. First of all, the patient he or she will be not able to get proper response from the medicine. The cure will be not there. Then the doubt will go to the doctor who has prescribed that medicine, and it will be disturbing his reputation also. And third thing, it goes to the manufacturing side. Nowadays, our country is focusing on making India and all these things, and our government is also focusing. We can be a lead in the pharmaceutical industry in the global level. So, if the quality is not maintained due to the not maintaining proper cold chain product, it is going to definitely disturb all this supply chain, manufacturing side, and the government policy reputation of country also. The most challenging area is temperature excursion. While we dispatch the goods or we store the goods over our warehouse, our major concern remains the maintaining of the temperature. So nowadays there are a lot of technology over there. You can monitor online temperature of your warehouse or any storage capacity, storage site. You can monitor the warehouse temperature online. Secondly, when you are planning to dispatch the goods, when the finished product is moving out from your manufacturing site to the storage house, we have to maintain the temperature over there. There should be no temperature excursion. So in case of the domestic movement, the reefer vehicles are nowadays available, and all these reefer vehicles are nowadays having the facility of online temperature monitoring GPRS system. So while vehicle is on move, you can monitor the temperature of even reefer vehicle also. Once the products are coming to your warehouse, you also have all this facility of the storage. So logistics is now getting well equipped in comparing to last 10 or 15 years. Along with this logistics, now the knowledge is also more important, because the person who are dealing and handling this medicine, they must be aware what kind they are handling. It is not something like a white goods, or it is not something like that cosmetic or soaps or something like that. So enough and adequate knowledge is required to with a person, those who are involved in handling of these products on a day-to-day basis, for which SOPs are always there. We have to design SOPs. We have to ensure that the compliance of SOPs there. Even government is also in facing with the good distribution practices, good warehousing practices. Now government is also coming with a good logistics solutions also nowadays. So all this together, so we have to keep in this mind, at all this stage, there is no lacuna or there is no failure. So that is the most difficult thing that we have to manage at the distribution level. In addition to this, temperature monitoring data are there. We have to collect the data, the person, we have to engage the last mile delivery. at last mile delivery, how the person is equipped to give the delivery, which kind of packaging solution we are using. We are using the refrigerated van. We are using, once the products are available at the distributor point, then from distributor point to the hospital or patient, we have to ensure the temperature sensitivity, temperature cold chain is also maintained. We have many times we have observed in most of the Indian families that medicines are kept on over the top of the refrigerator. The logic is very simple because as soon as you are going to consume the medicine, you require the water. So the best place in our Indian culture, storage of the medicine is the top of the refrigerator. So basic thing is that we are not aware of the what temperature conditions are required. In our previous panel, they already discussed about all these things also, storage condition and knowledge is also required. So these are the challenges which we are facing and we have to take care of the while dealing with the cold chain products.
Thank you, Sanjay sir. I think a lot of things is resonating with the earlier discussions and the questions which the audience has talked about, the awareness, the traceability, the visibility, right? Now, next question to Vikas sir. When we talk about the, Dixit sir has touched base about the specialty industry, which is moving at a faster pace, and Indian pharma companies are now pivoting into the biotech portfolio, developing the biopharma and moving away from the generic, which mostly did not require the stringent temperature condition as we know it. So how do you feel with these new specialty drugs in terms of rare disease, oncology, even the cell and gene? How do we modify or adapt to the current supply chain and make it future ready?
So I think it's a very interesting heart, very close to heart. I think as a Thermo Fisher Scientific, we are into that business of how we can support this type of the industry and this type of business. When we talk about the standard precision medicine versus cell and gene therapy, there are vast different into managing such critical and very sensitive product line. So in terms of the storage, if you see, we can get very huge 2 to 8 degree or 15 to 25 warehouse. But when you go into the minus 70 and beyond, you need very typical infrastructure. Nitrogen storage tank probably might not be available everywhere. This is the time now India is evolving, and we have seen that cell and gene therapy has been getting more and more tractions, and a lot of companies have started developing the molecules, and now there is a need for storage capability. So there is a different infrastructure required to store that product against what we have regular medicine in terms of when we are storing at, we have heard that about the storage condition, the ambient storage. What would be the ambient storage? Here, I think is very specific storage condition is minus 70 and beyond. Again, when we are transporting that cell and gene therapy products, there are very specific containers you need to use, and now the data logger or temperature is on real-time data logger are available. When it's also in air, you are able to find out what temperature this product is moving. Second thing, the transit time. Sometimes we feel that the transit time for our regular medicines would be okay, 48 to 78 hours or beyond 72 hours. In clinical research industry, 48 and 22 to 28 to 48 hours are well-defined delivery timeline. But if you go into general pharmaceutical industry, it might not be there because it's cost sensitive. So now when we go to the minus 70 and beyond, again, that will logistics cost would be a very high cost when you are using air mode with the surface mode, and then you are delivering within 24 to 48 hours. I have seen distribution happening from Bangalore, Ahmedabad or some place to the Bangkok and all within 24 hours. They try to connect the flights as soon as possible. So there would not be any lag time between two flights. And you have seen that when there is a organ transplant open, government allows to do the corridor open for them. Very dedicated aircrafts are moving. So this cell and gene therapy would come like that. And we see now in this government, you have seen that there are so many airports has been opened up, and that's helping us more and more to delivering the products faster and faster. So cell and gene therapy would support us in future for logistics purpose, but regulations and cost, that would be a more important pieces to support this type of therapy. And regulations already started drafting cell and gene therapy. We have already some regulations and might go into the detailed regulations when products are start marketing into India. We are getting a lot of CRT seen into the oncology hospitals, but still is in under developing, and that will help industry when logistics and storage capabilities are available with the basic research and the clinical trial is going on. So that's the difference how we can see.
Thank you, sir. So building on to that, and next
Regulations and cost, that would be a more important pieces to support this type of therapy. And regulations already started drafting cell and gene therapy. We have already some regulations and might go into the detailed regulations when products are start marketing into India. We are getting a lot of CRT seen into the oncology hospitals, but still is in under developing, and that will help industry when logistics and storage capabilities are available with the basic research and the clinical trial is going on. So that's the difference how we can see.
Thank you, sir. So building on to that, and next question to Mr. Sunil. When we talk about there's enough emphasis and development by the manufacturers and the other stakeholders in bringing more specialized product in terms of biopharma or cell and gene like sir said. From the logistics representation perspective, where do you feel the current infrastructure is? And this also ties up with one of the question audience has asked before in terms of the domestic air connection, where we do not have the cold chain storage facilities at the airport. How do we make ourselves ready if we are not there yet in terms of maintaining those crucial temperatures of minus 70, minus 80, even 196, minus 196 when it comes to liquid nitrogen? So where do we stand today, and what needs to be done to be there from the future ready perspective?
Yeah, very good question. Thank you, everyone. So first and foremost, the most important is need. Okay, so when there is a need, there will be a solution. So when we talk about the passive packaging or active containers, this was not there in 20 years back or 15 years back. But then the way we have required these drugs required. So if you see in the need, last 5 years, almost more than 25,000 new reefer vehicle comes into the systems. So there is a need, there will be a solution. So there are a lot of solutions coming up with the based of, if you see the kind of infrastructure also, there are systems, processes. The important is people training. If you see the pharmaceutical companies where they are dealing into their supply chain logistics, they prefer to deal with the freight forwarder who is GDP certified, not only with the India perspective, but even the abroad and the destinations where they will be having a cold chain facilities, the infrastructures. Therefore, their deliveries will be sound into the same to the patient in the right condition. So the important part is infrastructure when we talk about. Second, sir, Ravi sir told in the people and processes. When we say only GDP certification is not the important aspect, we have to train our people. We have to have a specific formats on which their shipment needs to be monitored, the temperature arrival, temperature departure. The infrastructure airline is putting is in, they are doing a lot of good jobs, especially when we say Middle East based carriers, Qatar, Emirates, Turkish, they are having a pool dollies coming up. They are ready to depute with the kind of a cold chain complete process. The real time monitoring is available now on the your temperature sensitive system, which was not there in the past. So all the data loggers are now flying with the, the pallets specifically. It gives you in real time visibility where your shipment is, where your, what is your temperature, humidity. So all kind of information is now available. So we are almost ready with the future. Yes, there are infrastructure challenges because based on the demand and supply, the infrastructure will definitely grow. That is my
Thank you. Thank you for that. I have one more follow-up question with you.
Yeah.
When we talk about moving into specialty, which is more of creating value to the patient, we are moving away from the concept of volume, right? That's where the logistics aspect and the most important, the cost element of the entire supply chain falls into. So as a LSP provider, right, to both the stakeholders here, how do you see there is still a possibility of a cost reduction or cost control when we talk about reduction in volume, but a very specialized movement? So like Vikas sir mentioned about corridors, dedicated corridors for organ movements, right? We are talking about dedicated vehicle or charters or those kind of things, right? And those don't come cheap,
Yeah.
right? So when we move away from volume to value, how can we still control cost? And then once you answer that, I'm like a question to both of you as well. Is this the supplier, the manufacturer ready to bear more cost for the specialty products which are now hitting the market?
So yes, when there is a new invention, there will be a new requirements. I agree with you. Initially, there will be high cost because there are a lot of things needs to be done to be a regularized it. But when we talk about initial phases, yes. But once we will be having, I mean, the kind of packaging solution example you can take. Initially, when we talk about 5 years back, we used to buy a small Credo box with the 40-50,000 rupees a rental cost, whereby now it is very reasonable rate where all the pharma companies can accept it or adopt it. So yes, there will be initial cost, but then there are a lot of infrastructure based corridor also coming up. So for example, from north to Mundra by rail connectivity. Okay, so all pharmaceuticals and frozen meat is going by rail. I mean, now there is no by road movement. For example, from Baddi or Dehradun plant, they move into an North Delhi Dadri, and then from there it goes to and straight into Mundra port. And there are no hardly any temperature deviations during this. So the good part is, yes, we know the need is there. There will be a public and private partnership is going on. It will take time. I'm not. It cannot be overnight. But yes, when there is a demand, yes, automatically there will be solutions coming up. I mean, that needs to be designed, and
Yes, of
and
course.
that is where our all jobs lies. I mean, we have to discuss, brainstorm it, come up with some solutions. We have to discuss with the stakeholders, and then bring it to the end proper SOP.
No, I agree with you. I think to what you also earlier said that necessity is the mother of invention, right? So I think it would take the entire stakeholder, entire ecosystem to work on the cost element, and not just, it would not be possible for one stakeholder to work on it, but as a community, yes, we can. But sir, again, building upon that, for the initial years when we do not have very ready-made solution available, there is an impact of increase. Are we ready for to bear more cost while shipping less
I think
volume?
that reply will be from
Yeah,
both
from
of this because I
from
am the
Mr.
person
Sanjay.
where we are always fighting for the cost. So
I agree with
I
you.
suggest
I'm on your
they will
side.
support us on this question.
True, true.
I will respond in terms of the researcher works and how they see the cost. So when there are two parts of the researcher. One researcher, I think, work on biologics and biosimilar. Right now, there is a fight who will come first in the market. In that case, cost is not more important. What they want to do is make sure that patient get the product right first time, and they complete the clinical trial faster than the competition. So biosimilars, which are if there are, I think, multiple products which are going off patent in next 10 years time, and most of the Indian biotech biopharm companies are racing have that molecule come first in the market. So in the clinical industry, the cost of doing the logistics part is not much a challenge. But when it comes to the same location uh, with the volume, yes, they definitely ask for justification why the cost is increased. So that is also play a role with the volume. If your volume is high, like if you are doing the diabetic studies and you are sending the more products to the different hospital, your cost will drastically reduce. So you need to work towards how you can maximize your lane, maximize your volume, and how you can utilize good packaging products where your volume is high. Like if you are talking about 12 liter or 28 liter of Credo box and you are just shipping 5 vials, then your cost will impact. So how you maximize your volume with the same container would help, because your transit time is always depend on to the volume and the need of the product. So cost is really concerns currently in India as well, because we don't have airlines going everywhere. So in the clinical industry, we use airline and the road, not rail. Currently, we don't use the rail, but road and the airline. So both transit mode are used, and cost is always be a concern. But in the what I said into the clinical research industry, when you are doing phase 3, phase post studies, cost doesn't matter because they want to see how the patients are coming into study and faster they can close the clinical trial.
Thank you, sir. Sanjay, sir, if you want.
When we are talking about the cost, rightly says research and everything, other innovations are very costly affair when it is coming to the deliver as a final product. Now, when we are talking about the distribution and availability, yes, the cost is very effective, very impact on it because storage facility require infrastructure, handling of cold chain product or any medicine, it requires infrastructure. So earlier days, the proper infrastructure was not there. The logistics in India was the very worst condition. You have to depend on only air mode in case of the cold chain supplies, and packaging solutions available were not supporting for more than 24 hours or 36 hours. Nowadays, the new technology has come, new packaging solutions has come. So earlier, what the air dispatch is, which is more costly logistics options, now it's converted to the road operation within a domestic operations. Infrastructure is improved. The roads are very much improved. Refrigerated vehicles, the number of refrigerated vehicles, service providers are also improved. Simultaneously, the down the line distribution cost is also very much having impact because once the cold chain product is delivered to the stockist, then once it is delivered from stockist, it is moving to the retailer. Now, retailer has to also maintain a 2 to 8 degree temperature or below 25 degree temperature. So all these elements are making huge impact on the overall operation cost also. Yes, the new technology and the new infrastructure is going to help this. Nowadays, the regional distribution centers are created. The consolidation of the distribution points are coming where people are generating one farm and they deal with only cold chain products with more facility, more service provider, all these things. So slowly this cost impact will be going down and the volumes are also increasing. Yes, there is a good sign on this distribution point.
Add your thoughts on that. Before we jump to the next phase, I have a poll for the. I wanted to have this at the start, but had limit. I have two questions, and we would your thoughts, how you how you look at the cold chain industry as of today, and there are no right and wrong answers. Please feel free as possible. You can maybe scan the QR code with your phone. You will have a poll and options. Select the one which you that we can record. First question is the current state of cold chain industry is. The options are innovating rapidly, still stuck in past. Yet there, it's not yet. It is too fragmented across the stakeholder. I think the majority, 90% above, agrees that there is enough innovation happening to keep us at pace. We have 24 votes. Anybody still pending, please complete so that we can move to the next one. Okay. Thank you for your participation. Can we have the next question, please? Just we can start off with maybe one bold prediction from each one of you, how the cold chain industry would look like in next 5 to 10 years.
I think there will be a lot of AI involvement next 5 years, like prediction of routes and what are the potential risk levels. So, basis the data collected in past or as an ongoing process, people will start using their data for the forecasting of their routes and what can be the potential risk, whether I should select this route or and in case of any contingency, that they will be looking for a contingency plan. that I am forcing next 5.
Echo what he said. Over and above happen would I will be answering some like all the label on the product will start with the where uh, inventory would be kept slowly, and that will help reducing the cost. Yeah, and also the inventory at the distributor level, inventory at the stockist level, and at probably at the store level might start tracking next 5 years, because all the temperature sensitive products are not easy to manufacture, easy to transport, and that would be a next see into next 5 years that each and every product or probably the vial or box we have barcoding. We do use that into the clinical industry to track and trace, but I have seen that into the US and Europe already started having the barcoding system onto gives most of the information. Sometimes it's present to the product numbers. They basically give they have produced 20,000 bottles or 20,000 vials. They track each and every vial the barcoding system. That would be another things will come probably what I see into the full logistics or cold chain logistics that might help managing the inventory and using the efficiency of the product.
Vishal, what I feel is the sustainability is going to be a next 5 years. The way Europe regulations and the situation which we are seeing is, of course, from India perspective, the expectation, because we are the powerhouse and we are the largest exporters to the global destination. So next is the sustainability, of course, the commercial viability, which we need to make sure that based on the AI usage, there will be a lot of data inventory, the kind of shipment tracking, real-time monitoring, route risk assessments. These are the all basic things will be through AI, and it will be going to be a lot of like carbon saving. There will be a lot of questions now going to come, which has started coming in the way we deal with the Mylan or some large customers. They are asking now, what is the carbon footprint we are saving? How much is in ocean? How much is in air? So the sustainability is going to be a next 5 years big question. And then, of course, we need to start preparing it. So if you see where we are doing the road, where we try to reduce by road to rail, or we try to see that wherever we can save the carbon footprint, there will be a sea-air combination coming up nowadays, and that is successfully moving for some of the products. So to make sure the commercial viability of the product, when we talk about sea-air, instead of standing from here to US directly, you are moving via Zebulon, where you have an advantage of carbon footprint, and then move from Dubai to and various destinations. So these are the major area where I feel that sustainability, carbon footprint, AI usage, this will be in applying our day-to-day logistics. And we need to prepare and learn always and adopt the new changes, because this is evolving market and required a new invention every time. That's the future.
Points. I think we can hold what you have mentioned around QR code in terms of visibility, and of course the execution. But before we move, the next question is about, you are given a choice, perfect cold chain, what would you choose? First, India being a market, very interesting. We have the majority taking the first option. Second is, of course, compromising time, transit time, multimodal approach, cost saving. Interesting that we as a community is ready to pay 20% more the prevailing rates. I think all the logistics provider or the stakeholders would be very happy. They can take a snapshot and show it to at least whoever has attended this conference that you agreed for paying a premium, right? So cost is not a problem anymore. Exactly. Okay, very interesting. So still a very heavy majority of 60%, 3 quarters, is that they are happy. Very interesting take. Maybe we'll have some questions from audience around it at the end of the session. But thank you for your participation. I'll move on to the next set of questions. Now we touch base upon AI, automation, data-driven approach. Sir, how do you feel blockchain, incorporating blockchain, entire supply chain? Because we have seen this compromising time, transit time, multimodal approach, cost saving. Interesting that we as a community is ready to pay 20% more the prevailing rates. I think all the logistics provider or the stakeholders would be very happy. They can take a snapshot and show it to at least whoever has attended this conference that you agreed for paying a premium, right? So cost is not a problem anymore. Exactly. Okay, very interesting. So still a very heavy majority of 60%, 3 quarters, is that they are happy. Very interesting take. Maybe we'll have some questions from audience around it at the end of the session. But thank you for your participation. I'll move on to the next set of questions. Now we touch base upon AI, automation, data-driven approach. Sir, how do you feel blockchain, incorporating blockchain, in this trend going in perishable market, especially around the food industry, where you can scan a QR code, you can see where exactly was captured, which vessel captured it, which was a processing center, and how it moved to the end market in US and Europe, for example. And we have similar take on one of the, I think, a new age coffee company in India. I think it is Blue Tokai. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where they publish a QR code and scan the QR code, you can see where the coffee beans from which farm they're coming from, right? So that brings an element of traceability and visibility, and sometimes preferential at the consumer end, because they might be inclined towards certain grade of coffee beans, for in this example, to consume. When we talk about the adoption of blockchain, the entire supply chain, most importantly, how do we incorporate holders, suppliers in this ecosystem so that there is a traceability element, the visibility element, and of course the compliance till the end user.
Important question, and nowadays the track and trace is going to be a very important factor in a pharma industry also, like any other industry. Government of India has already implemented barcode and all these things for the your all imports, all exports, commodity and the pharmaceutical products also. Now very slowly they have released a press release draft note also for the implementing of the barcode and the other QR code informations mandatory for the domestic market also. So even nowadays, most of your products, if you purchase any medicine from the market, they are coming with a QR code to just give you the surety about the genuinity of the product, whether it is manufactured by the correct manufacturer or not, something like that. In Europe and USA, serialization concept is already implemented. Now in this serialization, it gives the end-to-end result starting from the manufacturing point to the delivery up to the retail or the end user level. Like all these informations are captured under these serialization options. Another thing is the strict audit compliance, regulatory norms are also there, data analytics are there, which is going to help on this concern of the blockchain matter. That is my view.
Thank you, sir. Because, sir, what do you feel the adoption would be, especially from representing the clinical side of it? And we're talking about the direct to patient or decentralized clinical trial approach, where there will be an onus on the patient itself to be able to capture those elements of checkpoints into this ecosystem, what we are talking about?
So in clinical industry is a little bit different than what we do the general pharmaceutical manufacturing and patient consumptions. So the product which are packed and manufactured are very specific to the patients and very specific to the clinical trial with the kit number and and each and every pack has a barcode. Nowadays, in last couple of years, the AI and IT has also enabled us to track and trace patients' demography information also with that barcode. And when the patients start taking the medicine, they scan the barcode and they get a lot of information on that. Another important thing in, I think, general pharmaceutical industry as well, if you see, we see the lot of multicolored labeling and multicolored products, okay, onto the carton, onto the label, and the font size is also very small. Sometimes you can't read it, okay, and when you are taking the tablets, sometimes you take it out the tablets where your expiry also gone or manufacturing also gone. Now that will enable us or help us to see that if barcode is implemented, we can see that what product we are taking, when it should be taken, by what time should be taken. So that will basically give us more confidence onto the product, and that also come with the quality control, regulations, and whatever basically government decides, that would help us. Second important thing is in the clinical industry, we normally see only black and white label. We are not allowed to print any color print. So all the labels onto the clinical trial products are black and white only. Second thing, our secondary pack is also the white carton. We cannot have color carton. If people might be using, but as we as a global company, we follow the US FDA EU guideline, and there's a norm where most of the time 98% of our products are with the black and white carton. Why? Because of the readability of the font size, and also with the barcode where you can do the track and trace. Second thing, white carton gives you the any damages very easily to identify, and if there is any damage, you cannot use that product. I think in general pharma, that would be a little challenging on that part. So I think slowly we are evolving, and we have seen the change, and it will be implemented slowly and will happen. Clinical is well defined, and Indian government also have well defined guideline for clinical research industry. That's how I can.
Thank you, sir. I think you touched base on a very important aspect, that technology necessarily does not have to be costly. We can make elements like visual color, enabled packaging or other cues to make the end user more aware in the most simplest way possible. Thank you. Sunil, what's your take on this entire innovation, blockchain, AI? How this whole ecosystem will work, especially when we talk about the logistics service provider element. We still have this entire domain very fragmented when we talk about first mile vehicles, when we talk about CHAs, when we talk about airline partners, ground handlers, and so many so forth, right? So how can we have something as seamless as when it comes to the visibility of the entire supply chain, especially when the product is not in our control? It is, let's say, either at the airport tarmac, at a custom bonded warehouse, in flight, something like that.
So first and foremost, what you ask is, yes, there are a lot of stakeholders with whom we are dealing when we talk about shipment, first mile to last mile delivery. And for us, the most important part is the understanding. So the kind of people, training, people understanding, not only a certification perspective, but the kind of a basic understanding to the person that this is a pharmaceutical product is going to a patient, and this required certain temperature based on the labeling which we have done it. So that understanding we need to bring it. So there are a lot of training program. You see in air cargo complex, we have a couple of training program done for all the staff, loaders, everybody. So I think we have to sync with the kind of all stakeholders. Secondly, when they talk about airlines is a very important partner for us. Airline has come up with a lot of products into now. They are giving 15 to 25, 2 to 8. They have certain capacity of 15 to 25, for example, 2 pallet position on the aircraft. So they will accept up to your 16 or 18 pallets only. And then they will say no, because they don't have a 15 to 25. So So nowadays it is very easy, available. I mean, and then if you see the data is working very aggressively, they are coming up with a lot of new solutions. I explained to you the cool dollies are not just far away. Maybe in next 6 months we will see the cool dollies in Ahmedabad or Bombay. So yes, that's there. So they realize that because of the tremendous volume which we are giving out of India, for them that's in business. So for that, all to sustain that business, they will do all the activity. Then current latest, if you see the old data loggers where you have to download the reports, now when it reaches to a destination is history. Now it's in real time monitoring available with the kind of track and trace. You can see your location, temperature, humidity. So everything is available now. So of course you have to pay the price for it. But then, as I said, certain products you can always have that visibility. Understanding is very clear. Previously, there are certain stakeholders who were not basically participating, but now all the stakeholders are participating. A live example, for example, last week we were having a shipments going into in Madrid. The one airline had said no. I said, why? We are saying no, you have a flight. He said, basically, we don't have in 15 to 25 storage area there. So now see that the awareness has come. Now the carriers are very clear. If I don't have a storage area of 15 to 25 in Madrid, I will not accept from Ahmedabad. So that's kind of understanding is coming. Yes, we have to sync with each other. We have to have a collaborative approach. We have to work together and then see. I think wherever there will be a gap, we have to bridge the gap with the training.
Thank you, Sunil, for adding that. So I think we are running out of time, and before we open up for questions from the audience, just to quickly summarize what these stakeholders within the pharma industry feels like. So there is definitely an element of increased innovation, what we've also seen from the audience poll. There is an adoption of the next set of technology in terms of IoT devices, real-time monitoring, temperature control. We have seen advanced packaging solutions coming up from various manufacturers, not just abroad, the multinationals, but also from the Indian manufacturers. And we've also seen there is a good enough understanding of how do we incorporate all of this into an ecosystem where we can then deliver a traceability or visibility to the end user for which we all are working, right? So patient is at the heart of all the people working within this cold chain pharma community. So it would be safe to say that, everybody has that one common goal of delivering the right quality product at the right time, at the right place, of course, at the right cost. But I would say the biggest takeaway was that in general, about 68% are happy to pay more price. So I would end up the session with that note, and I'll open up for if you have any questions from the audience. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, kindly please raise your hand so we can pass on the mic to you. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Amit Bhardwaj. I work as a consultant for different pharmaceutical and logistics firms, also some CROs and pharmaceutical firms. I go back to my old days working with Vikas, sir. We both started working at Fisher as a greenfield project, and we did a lot of innovation in terms of managing and innovating how we can do clinical logistics and supply chain. Vikas sir and Mr. Dixit, I have a question for you. Maybe it's not a question, just to understand. I have had a very deeper insight of the discussion that Vishal is moderating, and this is interesting to know, but we have spoken a lot about clinical logistics and pharmaceutical supply chain. The question is that last 10 years and the coming 10 years, there has been a lot of change. We have been talking change for a long time by now. We have seen a lot of change that has come up, and I think the kind of change that we have achieved by now is enough if we completely understand and implement it from the first mile to the last mile. Now, what, as per your understanding, is the change in very niche or very short, that what has changed in the last 10 years particularly is mostly education and awareness. And what do we think in next 5 to 10 years is going to be the one particular thing that will bring innovation and change in clinical and pharmaceutical logistics?
Very much for Thank you very much for this question. See, as you already have noticed that logistics and distribution has improved over the last 10 years. There are continuously it is going, and it is an ongoing process. In next 10 years, this journey is going to be continued, but there will require two more parameters. One is awareness is more required because, as I already communicated, even we are storing the medicine in our home also with not a proper temperature condition or proper storage condition. Major of the people going to the retail store, they simply see the purchase MRP and what payment you are going, but no one is verifying what is the expiry date, whether it is a shelf life is over or not. Even today, it is not clear if the expiry date mentioned over the strip is December 25. So it starts from 1st December or it ends on only after 31st December only. So more awareness is required, and this need to be start from our home only. We have to educate our family members about the distribution, storage, all these things. They need not to go for the distribution of medicine or to handle the logistics, but how most efficiently they can consume this medicine if on the need basis. This is more required. In next 10 years, if we discuss about how it is going to further, yes, there will be a lot of innovations. The turnaround time for the product availability is required to be more improved. Earlier, it was taking 15 days, 10 and 20 days to reach the consignments at the Cochin or Jammu. Nowadays, it has become 10 days. But this turnaround time is also very much high. So this new technology implementation, new storage and packing solution is going to be more effective in coming days in terms of the logistics and distribution.
Thank you, sir. Vikas, your thought, please.
Mr. Dixit has covered everything, but just to add, we have seen healthcare industry are now growing in tier 3 and tier 4 cities. Okay, now due to the cost, due to the treatment cost, now government also started a lot of medical incentive to the poor people and all. So now we need to see how they support the infrastructure to go to tier 3 and tier 4 cities. We are now good at tier 1, tier 2 and metros. Okay, and I have seen in the clinical industry when I started in 1997, we see almost every clinical trial happening into the metros and probably tier 1 city. Now I can see the villages small where they open up the clinical trial. How to reach there is more important. But now government is also supporting with the infrastructure. Airports are now opening very closer to the smaller towns, and road transportation also become now quite good. So I think we will need to see in next 5 years how government supporting infrastructure and how healthcare industry will support and take the advantage of that industry to the infrastructure and make a win-win situation for patients as well as to the logistics partner to reach the required things at the time. That's the probably I see in the next 5 years.
Thank you, sir. I will just add on this. As in the previous panel discussion, Mr. Rajneesh said that last mile is going to be one of the most difficult thing that we still are facing. It's been ages. You are in the supply chain and transportation of clinical supplies. So how do we have got a very nice packaging. We have got so many people providing such a wonderful packaging that can maintain up to 96 to 120 hours. But if the last mile after it has reached the destination airport, and after that when somebody is carrying it to the site of the patient, that is the place where mostly the problem happens at the last phase. So how do you think that you will be able to control, or we'll be able to control that this does not happen, because it completely shatters the efficacy of the product?
So I'm not able to basically try to respond in general, but in the clinical industry, what is happening is that we now provide to the hospitals with all the accessories to deliver the patients the product. So if we are delivering product up to 2 degree at the hospital, now we have very stringent requirement. Last milestone means we have very particular person name into the hospital who can only take the delivery. So that's I think awareness we are building up with the logistics company, logistics partner. So that does that. So that's the milestone we achieved in last 3-4 years time. Now with the products we provide the cool bags, we provide the gel packs, we provide the different type of the components to the doctor who can then hand over it to patients, and then patients take at home, because patients are coming from or a different place. And with that also there are monitoring devices coming. So when initial phase when the clinical trial was happening, all are the paper based. Now is moved into the electronic base. So that probably will slowly get into the general pharmaceutical industry as well, because awareness when the person when I say a person or patient below the poverty level understand when he participate in the clinical trial that the product is need to be stored at X temperature and he is taking the product from hospital to home, probably that can be seen by 70-80% of his family members, probably his neighbors and all. So slowly awareness is increasing. They are asking for how I can store the product. So as mentioned in the question, slowly I think we will be gearing up with how the awareness has been. And second, we need to be very cautious about the cost, because everyone don't have refrigerator at home probably. How they can store the product, how we can deliver that product. So slowly infrastructure with the infrastructure awareness we will be able to manage. And I have seen now except the biological, a lot of products now in Indian pharma industry has evolved. The storage condition has improved for 220 degree to 15 to 25 degree with the stability data, with improved R&D. So they we don't maintain 15 25, but I think the stability of the product is such that they maintained at least the Indian environment. So we don't need to keep basically sometimes the product into a refrigerator. So R&D, innovations, stability data, and awareness all combined probably will help the industry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for your.
Minute.
Yes, Mr. Sanjay.
I will not take much time. Nowadays, the corporate hospitals, they are arranging the awareness program with their team members, their employees who is dealing with the nursing activity, dispensing activity, all these things. Even the corporate hospitals, they educate patients also when they are carrying the medicines along with them. And majority of the pharma companies, now they have started delivering, as Vimal says, with the gel pack, packing solutions, small bags, all these things. So the only thing is that training and awareness is more required, which is already started in India now. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your questions, everyone. And yes, let's pay a round of applause for our second panelist, the entire team.